you ready.
All right.
Rolling.
Hey, everybody. I'm Joy
What's
Purdy.
up?
This is the one and only Vic Micolucci.
There's actually at least two of us. My dad, too. Yeah, there's at least two of us in this city.
You're a junior?
Well, we're Italian, so we make it complicated. So my dad and I have a different middle name, and my grandfather was also a Victor Micolucci, but we all have different names. So technically, I'm not the third, but it's easier just to say yes. People are always like, "Are you the third?" Yeah, sure.
Than to go through this whole explanation.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and nobody needs to know that full explanation, right?
Okay.
People are busy. They got stuff to do.
We're talking to Vic because he's leaving Channel 4, and there's been so much response, so much outcry, so much congratulations and passion from so many of our viewers and our online people that are very dedicated to watching, and they know all my name, and what the heck?
Yeah, and 95% of y'all have been really nice. I'm kidding.
What has the reaction been?
It's been incredible.
Was flabbergasted because I thought for sure from Jacksonville, you've worked here for 15, almost 16 years, that you were never going to leave. You were going to be the next Tom Wills.
Well, Tom Wills is always going to be Tom Wills. Here's the deal. I'm not leaving Jacksonville. This is not a goodbye. I'm still going to be out there. I'm still working for the community. I'm just kind of shifting the way I'm doing it a little bit, Joy. I mean, look, I have such a respect for you and for the entire team. You know that I'm a big Joy Purdy fan, right? Everybody knows that. It's not a secret. But the whole team, in front of the camera, behind the camera, everybody that makes it happen. We have some incredible people that are really good at their job. And what makes it so special is that they're passionate, right? This is their community. And that's something you don't get when you turn on the networks. You don't get that community feel where they really do care. I mean, look, we go to the grocery store and people tell us their reaction, good and bad, and we hear it from people, but that holds us accountable. And that's why we work for the community. So why am I leaving? Because there's a great opportunity because I believe in public service, and there's an opportunity to get out there to use the bonds and the connections that I've built over the years, the lessons that I've learned, and get out there and put some resources on them. I see things a little differently than maybe somebody with a badge, right? And I also see the challenges that our law enforcement and our first responders go through because I've spent so much time with them. You and I both have been on the police beat, right? So we've been on all these missions with local, state, federal investigators, and we see how a lot of times they want to be seen as humans, right? Look, they're part of this community too. So to be able to humanize that, to tell the good stories, because there are so many good stories, and to get our community together through these difficult times, because there have been difficult times in the past. There's going to be some issues in the future. There will be challenges for the community that involve our sheriff's office. And if we can find a way to bridge that gap, to get people in the same room, to get people talking about it, and at least have some sort of mutual understanding, I think we can make this a happier place. Policing, in my opinion, is not about arresting people, right? It used to be put the handcuffs on them, put them behind bars. Well, that's bad, right? Because it costs us money as taxpayers, and that's not really solving the issue. That's just putting a Band-Aid on. I think the better thing is to stop people from committing these crimes, to give them positive ways to get out in the community, to make money, to build a family, to get a home. And if we do that together, using the sheriff's office resources for good, we can eventually, long-term goal here, save money for the taxpayers, right? We don't want to have these giant jails and put all these people behind bars and have to spend all this time and money arresting people. We want to stop people from doing these crimes, so it's safer for everybody.
So did you figure, we're assuming that you went to news4jax.com and read what he's going to be doing. Did you get it? He's going to be with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. What exactly is your
did
title?
I jump the gun there?
No, that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
But that's good because you're so passionate about it and you're excited, and we can see that. I can feel that.
And look, I'm still so passionate about news stories and journalism. Yeah. I mean, even today, right now, like working on a big investigation, and I think I'm going to work throughout the night until my last day just to be able to get everything out there because I've got these passion projects. So the official title is Community Engagement Executive. All right,
What
CEE.
is that?
What
With the
is
Jacksonville
that?
Sheriff's Office, but
Okay,
what is
with the
that?
Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. So it is a short title that describes a lot of things. Basically, I'm going to be working on communications. I'm going to be working on community relations, working on building that engagement. So online, videos, and then also getting out in the community, town halls, meetings. When there's an issue, we want to get in front of it. And I think that we have really seen Sheriff T.K. Waters and his stars and bars, as I like to call them, like his top administrators there at the Sheriff's Office, make good on their promises. Given, there are still people critical of the Sheriff's Office, and you know that. Your husband retired from the Sheriff's Office. There's going to be pushback. But
He's not critical, by the way. My husband is not critical.
no. I mean, but he knows that not everybody is going to be pro law enforcement, right?
Yes.
The deal is to bring transparency, to bring that openness, to let people know that this is a sheriff's office and this is a community for everybody. I get really mad when I see politicians that are not working for everybody. They're only working for their donors. They're only working for the people who voted for them. And at the end of the day, when you get elected, you're elected for everybody. And I see that commitment from the sheriff's office. Doesn't matter, your background, your beliefs, this and that. If you are a citizen of Jacksonville, or you're here and you're expecting that public safety, let's make it happen for everybody.
So here's a big challenge.
Yeah.
Not everybody sees it that way because they are coming from histories where their interaction with police or the sheriff's office or wherever they're from, if they moved here, if they're born and raised here, it doesn't matter, where it's not been a positive experience,
Right.
or they're relying on relatives or generational not good experiences. So are you part of changing that mindset?
I hope to be. I want to be. And I see the work being done. The stories that I've been able to do over the past couple of years have shown that, given some would say it's a drop in the bucket, but eventually you're going to get to it. And I've just seen so much investment in making community impact, building those relationships, and finding out that you can't arrest your way out of these problems. Yes, in the past, there were issues, right? Like we've all heard about police brutality. We've all heard about, racism and stuff in law enforcement as a whole, right? And usually that's a small sector, but that's what people remember, right? Same with us in the news business. They remember a couple people that really did some bad things, and they don't remember all the good. And I know that there's so much good going on in our first responder community, in our community as a whole. And there are so many people that are able to set aside their differences and look at their similarities and come to it. And
Have they
I
asked
think
you
that's
for
great.
ideas yet? Have
Yes.
you talked about any ideas that you do have? And are there any that you can share that people can
There's-
look forward to?
There are a ton of ideas, okay? Don't want to give away too much. We're really going to reach out online to people, okay? Ramp up that video production, ramp up those communications with the public, okay? Because we know that people are using their phones and their computers and their tablets to go about their life. So we're going to tell those stories, the big breaking news stories and the feature stories, the feel-good stories, the stories that just might affect you. We're going to tell those. We're going to use those platforms. So building out a big video team over there at JSO.
Will you be doing a lot of that? You can do it all here. You shoot video, you edit,
Yeah.
you report. Is that part of your repertoire over there?
It's part of it. So I've already met the team, and there's a talented multimedia team that do the camera work, the graphics, the video, the editing, the web stuff. So working with them, working with their talents to build on that, and so that we can all grow, coming together as this team and using each other's strengths to really make an incredible product there. So obviously a sheriff's office has to communicate with its people, and with people moving more and more online, this is a great way to do that. Some other things that we're going to be doing, town halls. hoping to get out in the community, and not just one town hall in downtown Jacksonville at the sheriff's office, because we know that not everybody has the mobility, everybody has the ability to get out there, right? So we're going to be doing these town halls to bring the community's questions and concerns and challenges directly to the people that can help.
So kind of like what Mayor Donna Deegan did
Yes.
when she first got into
Yes.
office, and she went to different parts of the town and
Right.
allowed people to come and ask questions.
Yeah, and I had a lot of respect for that, because you can't necessarily know about all the problems unless people tell you. You know, think about it like this. If you're a landlord and somebody's renting your house and you don't go in that house, and then you're having plumbing issues, how are you going to know as the landlord unless that person tells you? So it's to jump on these things. You know, maybe somebody's having a problem with speeders in their neighborhood. Maybe they feel like there's illegal activity happening, dumping. You know, if they get in front of the investigators, the resources there, the specific leaders and commanders of those units and those zones, and say, hey, I'm having a problem on this street, there are officers that can get out there and do that. So it's about building that connection and bridging that gap so that these people don't have to call 911. Or we know that traditionally some people just don't contact the police. They have these issues. They don't contact the police. I think, you know, as a citizen of Duval County and as somebody that has been a journalist reporting on our law enforcement for 14 years now, 16 years if you include the internships, there's usually resources for that. It's just about connecting the people with those resources. Because at the end of the day, this is a public entity, and it's to support the taxpayers, and it's funded by the taxpayers.
All right. So everything that you just described is really what you're doing now at Channel 4. You've got that community
Yeah.
outreach. You can get out and make changes, and you can fight for people. People commented online about how you were able to get resolution
Yeah.
for, you know, the people who can't get the big wigs to listen to them. So why do you have to do that at JSO? Why can't you just do that here? What do you got to go for?
Listen,
Why?
I just think it's a great new opportunity, and it's a new adventure, and
You've been here, like you
Yeah.
interned here and then you got a job here and you've
did.
worked here your entire career.
yeah, and I actually I told the station that I was working here, whether they liked it or not. Thank you, Bob Ellis and Mo Ruddy Baker and all them, because literally I was an intern here and got whipped into shape really fast. You know, after my first week of shadowing, my news director, then Mo, had just said, okay, well, where's your tape? Where's your reel of what you're doing? And I'm like, I've been shadowing reporters. And she's like, all right, well, by next Friday, I want to see it and I want to look at it, this and that. And I was like, okay, I've got this deadline, and I didn't want to let her down. And I had to learn these things, how to shoot, how to edit, how to write for TV with relatively little experience, right? Just a couple classes at that point. But I figured it out. Why? Because I had a deadline and I had pressure and I had somebody that believed in me, but
And you had passion.
I had to do it and had the passion.
Yeah.
And I still have that passion. So why transfer over? Because I believe that there's an opportunity to reach a lot of people. The sheriff's office is responsible for, you know, nearly 1 million people, and there are more than 3,000 officers there. And I feel like there's a job to be done with my experiences, with my past, with the amazing partners and the great people that I've met, where I mean, I always say, like, my cell phone is so valuable with just the amount of the numbers of the people that you can call to make stuff happen. And we've been able to do that through the I-Team and get so many results, and to be able to still use those people. I don't even see it as a big transition, to be honest. I'm not going to be on TV every morning and doing that routine. But at the end of the day, I really think I'm going to be doing very, very similar work, just in a little bit of a different capacity with a different set of resources.
Is also part of the reason why you're taking this on, because it is something new and different in your life?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, it's a different job.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked at a different job? I
was a lifeguard. I picked up little gigs and then little odds and ends jobs
So is that
in high
part of
school. I think that's part of it, Joy. I mean, you're really asking the tough questions here. I think it's also
sorry.
just, I think it's also that I have really, really built bonds in this community, and I love this community. And as a journalist, I've loved reaching out to people and asking them to help solve these problems for us. And now I feel and I hope that there are going to be some problems that I can solve directly, right, with connections to the sheriff's office, to the mayor's office, to the city of Jacksonville staff, to the partners, just solve these problems. And it might not be a TV story. I mean, you know, the best case scenario, and I say this for the I-Team too, people don't know with the I-Team, like we solve a lot of problems that don't end up being stories. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people this, like it's ideal for us to fix your issue without us actually doing a story, given it doesn't help us make any money at the station, but it's doing the right thing for the community. So, you know, for every one I-Team story you see, we might be solving 10 situations behind the scenes just to do it. So, you know, that's the goal, to do those resources.
Are we going to see you on TV?
Yeah.
Are we going to see you like when there's breaking news and the Sheriff Waters shows up and everybody shows up? Are you going to be there? Are you going to be talking to everybody, or do you not? Is that not part of your?
So yeah, I'm going to be doing some videos. I'm going to be doing some things. Like I don't know about the news briefings because those are going to be best with whoever's commanding that situation, right? If it's a homicide or it's a SWAT team thing, like why do you need to hear from me in a suit when you can have the actual person that's in charge of that? You know, obviously the sheriff's going to be still the person that's leading the organization. But there's going to be opportunities, where I'm going to be on TV and build those bonds and still use those skills. Working on some shows and some podcasts and things like that to shed light on some maybe unsolved crimes. Obviously, true crime's a big deal. And what if we can do a show and a podcast that's going to get some of these things solved using the power of social media? We know that detectives are great at what they do, but we also know that there's times when it's somebody on their computer on their lunch break that's a web sleuth, right, that can find something, looking at it through a different lens, that can find something and solve a case. And I recognize the power of the media, right? We've been able to help police solve so many cases. So if we can effectively and strategically get that information out there and help people out and solve some crimes and tell some stories and keep people safe, like, heck yeah, that's awesome. I do want to do a show. I want to work on a show. Planting that seed. I'm like still pedal to the metal, all gas here at the station.
Yeah.
So I'm also supposed to graduate.
Story now.
Oh yeah. I'm going back to that, and it's listen for that story. It's a bad day for somebody that's been taking money from people and not doing the jobs. Oh. So we're still following up on a lot of things, and you know I don't want to lose touch with people, right? Like I'm still going to be there for people. I'm still going to see these stories through.
When's your last day with us?
It's April the 3rd. It's Wednesday.
So when do you start with the sheriff's office?
Almost immediately after.
Well, like the 4th?
Soon. Very soon.
Do you get any
the process?
downtime?
No. And that's through nobody's fault but my own. All right. So I'm finishing my master's degree in the next month and a half.
On?
Masters of Mass Communication Leadership. So strategic communication, getting it out there. How do you get these important messages out to the public? So it falls right in line, one with the job here at WJXT and also with the job there at the sheriff's office. So, but I got to get that thing done. Great, love it, highly recommend higher ed and post-grad. But I also got to, Carrie Ann behind the camera knows that she's just starting her master's program.
Congratulations.
Yeah, right.
That's
we love
right.
Carrie Ann.
I saw that on social
We
media.
love Carrie Ann. So I went to UF for undergrad, and then I went to UNF for master's degree. She went to UNF for undergrad, and now she's at UF for her master's. So we're trading places here.
When do you graduate?
Well, if things go well. In May.
In May?
In May, yeah.
That's like tomorrow.
Yeah. So if my professors are watching, have a little grace. I've actually enjoyed being able to teach over there.
Teach over where?
At UNF. Yeah, so
While
I've been
you were
working.
taking-
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
when do you have time for that?
I don't. Yeah.
So are you a guest teacher over there? Or
Yeah.
do you actually have a
so
class?
it's like a professional in residence. So I work under a professor there, and I help out with that, and I help advise the students. And then also the UNF Spinnaker, which is the student media. They've got a radio station, TV station, magazine, social media stuff. I advise for them too, so I help them out. They're already doing great things, but I'm just there to kind of help them with some of that stuff. And it's been a great experience.
And you're also a DJ.
Yeah.
On the side, and I say on the side lightly because every weekend,
Yeah.
especially once fall hits and you get into the holiday months and then the wedding season, you are like every weekend DJing something. If it's not
Yeah.
a private event, it's a corporate event.
DJing and emceeing. Yeah, so I've had 4 this week.
This week?
Two emceeing, 2 charity events to MC, and then 2 to DJ, and those were weddings. So, I started DJing back in junior high, so all these people are like, you're a newscaster turned DJ? I'm like, no, I'm a DJ turned newscaster, because I started back in junior high. My dad played in a band, put himself through medical school that way.
What did he play?
Keyboard, bass, and accordion.
And, okay.
Yeah.
Did you learn an instrument?
I tried.
What did you try?
Piano, guitar, drums. I kind of settled on drums, but then I fell in love with audio and production and mixing, and so now I play turntables. Some people might not say that's an instrument. Come watch a gig. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to debate about if it's an instrument or not. It's an art.
Gigs.
It's been good. Yeah, it's been good. I think I don't even need to get into it, but dozens. But here's the deal. It's been a great way for me to interact with the community because say you've got 200 people per event and you're doing 2 events per week. That's 400 people. In the busy time, it could be more people and more events. So there's times when I have the privilege and the pleasure to interact in some way with 500 to 1,000 people per week. And then you add that up. So
how many story ideas has that been?
it's a lot. I'm actually to the point where people call me and they give me stories. Obviously, like we jump on stories, but some of these stories I tell them I'm a couple months out.
Well,
and I pass them along to our colleagues here. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got some great reporters here, and I am quite often leaning on them to help out because they just do such great work, especially our I-Team reporters. Mm-hmm. Well, all of them. But with the I-Team investigations, like I'm always like, hey, I got some more stuff for you, and I love that.
Is the sheriff's office going to allow you to continue to DJ on the weekend?
Yes. Yep. As long as it's not a conflict. Because that is community engagement. We bond through music, right? Like I've been able to play gigs for people from, Central Africa, from the Middle East, from Latin America, like where I don't speak the language, where I don't really know the full culture, but we can bond over that music. Music and food, right? Mm-hmm. You can go anywhere in the world and you can bond over music and food. And do I have plans to potentially DJ for the sheriff's office? If the time is right, if we can make it work.
To do a breakdance move, that'll be the day.
Oh, gosh. I hope he's not watching.
So, Vic, all exciting. It's all so exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for you. Is there anything that scares you? Is there anything that makes you nervous, that frightens you about this move?
Well, obviously it's tough. Like, oh my gosh, do you know how hard it hits me when I think about these viewers that are like, we watch you every single morning? I mean, I've been getting these messages from people. I heard from people as far as the Philippines when this announcement came out. All walks of life, up to, judges and politicians to just people that are just watch the show all the time. The thing that scares me is just losing some people, not being able to keep up that bond. But I think that social media and the internet are so powerful now. Like, I'm still keeping my social media channels, and we're going to do it, and I'm going to amplify the work that we do there. I'm going to build partnerships with this TV station and the other outlets in town too, to get that information out there. We all need each other. Right? We all need each other in this. But yeah, it hurts to hear that. I really bond with viewers, and there's people that'll come up to me out and about, and they'll be like, "You might not remember me." I'm like, "You might be surprised. I actually do." Like or people that email all the time. Like, I might have never met this person that emails, but when people email regularly or they comment regularly, you do get to know them, right? So, and then if you finally meet them in person, you're like, "Oh my gosh, you're Ed Van Voorhees." True story. I actually got to meet him. Like, he came up and he's like, "I don't know if you know who I am." I'm like, "I absolutely know who you are." So it's that connection. But the silver lining here is we can still connect with these people. They're consuming more than one outlet. They can still be loyal Channel 4 viewers and consume the good work that we're going to be putting out over there at the sheriff's office for public safety. Hurricanes, right? That if there is a hurricane, and first of all, I would say I never want a hurricane to hit us, right? Mm-hmm. It costs me money. It costs you money. It causes issues. I've had damage to my house. I've had loved ones have issues with their house. Like, I don't ever want to see anybody lose their home, get hurt, have any issues like that. But we can't change if a hurricane's coming. So if it's coming, like, I would sit there with John gone. It would be like 3 weeks out, and I'd be like, all right, I'm already planning it. Call up my guy, Chris, who I always travel the hurricanes with, or Sluggo, and be like, okay, guys, we're going to start gearing up. We had our bags packed like long before that thing's ever come close.
There are photographers.
So I'll miss that. I've already toyed with the idea. I was like, maybe I can do some PSAs and hurricanes. I don't know. We'll see. Everything's TBD with that. And I don't want to give too many specific plans, but we're going to roll with it. I don't think you can go into a new position like this, which it is a new position. I don't think you can go into a new position like this and just say, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is how it's going to turn out, right? You don't know that.
New position meaning this did not exist before, so you're not taking somebody else's job?
I'm not taking anybody's job, no. Mm-mm.
So this is a brand new spot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So not taking anybody's job. Not over there.
What's really interesting about this is, usually, and I don't want to sound so morbid, but usually when somebody dies or passes away, that's when you hear so many accolades and people are sending in well wishes. You have been getting, just from taking this new position and leaving Channel 4, have been getting to see and actually hear what people think of you. I mean, we get ratings, which counts and tabulates the number of viewers, but you were actually hearing what people think about you. How has that been? I mean, were you not expecting?
I don't think I was expecting it to this degree.
I'm going to read some of them.
Yeah, I think we can, kind of get those blinders on, right? I mean, like, we just put our head down and work. But I mean, if I think about all the overtime, all the the extra hours, the nights, the weekends, the coming in, the giving up holidays and social events and travel and all that stuff for the passion of this job and for this community, ultimately, to see that so many people do recognize it is a beautiful thing. And I'm so eternally grateful for it. Going back to the viewers, like, that's why we do this, right? Nobody should wake up at 2:30 in the morning to come in and anchor the news, right? But we do it because we know that people wake up and they want to have that information and they want to have something to watch that's local, that's relevant to them in the morning. So that's why we do this. Staying out late, going in these hurricanes, going in these dangerous situations, going in the violence, seeing these brutal, horrible crimes firsthand takes a toll on your mental health and your emotions. But to see that people recognize it and respect it, it just means the world. And, I wish that we could show this respect for everybody in all walks of life, in all different careers, because, if everybody pumped everybody up like that, like, man, we'd have a happier world. So to everybody that did that, thank you, because it is a difficult thing for me to say goodbye, and that does help. I didn't plan any of it, like the announcement or anything. It was kind of news to me. So as people were getting the push alerts on their phone, it was news to me too. I hadn't read the article. I didn't know that there was a push alert coming out. I didn't see the post. Some people some people commented that it did kind of look like an obit.
Well, because we used a beautiful picture of you.
It was just
It
a
was like-
screenshot from the announcement that
Yes,
morning.
you were on TV that morning. You were talking about leaving, and we grabbed this screenshot
Yeah.
of your face, and it just looked so perfectly polished that it looked like a picture that you would put in an obit. So I'm sure a lot of people did think that.
I heard that. I heard that yesterday, today at the doctor's office.
Happy you're alive, Vic.
No,
But
I don't want to
okay.
make light of it.
I'm going to read a couple of these, and I have a couple more questions for you too. Okay, so this one was on News for Jax. This is from Marka von Owison.
Okay.
Vic, your news is indeed bittersweet. I have watched Channel 4 for years and enjoyed your reports and stories so very much. It is easy to see the content of your character when you report on people often overlooked by society. You are
Yeah.
a kind and compassionate person, and I hope in your new position can serve as a role model for young people who may not have one. God bless and protect you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's
I love
huge.
it. Last night I was up way too late, like reading them, and I didn't even take a chunk out of reading everything yet, but I was trying to. I think I read like 700 or so, but I haven't even gotten a chunk out of all the messages, and that means so much. Like, yeah, being a role model is important. I have a lot of role models. I've heard from a lot of role models from this, a lot of mentors.
Like who?
I mean, Nick Valencia with CNN, Carrie Sanders from NBC and the Today Show. It just goes on and on and on. Judges, people that I've looked up to for a long time, police chiefs, community leaders.
Do they all have a similar thread, something about them? What attracted you to these people? Is there something you can...
Passion. You can't teach passion. And just care for their community and care for humankind, right? Like, gosh, we're all in this world together. And I think more and more with the internet and things like that, you can be really connected, right? Like, you can have dinner and not have a conversation with somebody. You can go to a restaurant or go to the grocery store and like not make eye contact with anybody. I'll be sitting behind a checkout and like somebody will just be so rude to a cashier or you know, somebody that's checking them out, wherever it is, or a waiter, waitress, flight attendant, whatever it is. And I'm like, why? Like, why not talk to somebody and just enjoy that human interaction? Because I truly enjoy that. And for other people that have that passion, that have that drive, that's great, you know, because there's so many people that are just going through the motions in life, and it's not the way to do it. It's not. So people that care about their community or care about something, a cause, you know, have a passion, whatever it is. If your passion is sea turtles and you love sea turtles, like, go out there and save the sea turtles. You know, like, find your passion and make a difference.
You do have a passion, at least one, that we know is so near and dear to your heart. And that's, is it the Make-A-Wish? No. Dreams Come True.
Dreams come true, yeah.
Because you do MC their biggest fundraiser, biggest event, celebrating those who have disabilities.
Yeah, so I do Dreams Come True. That's Night to Shine, too. The Night to Shine, Jax, the Tim Tebow
And
Foundation.
I just wrapped them all together in
North,
one.
no,
Did you
no,
see
no,
how
no,
I
no.
did that?
No, North Florida School of Special Education. There's quite a few that are kind of under that umbrella, you know, Best Buddies. Man, I will tell you this. If you're having a bad day, which, you know, in this industry, we do have bad days, right? Like, it's stressful. Things just don't seem to go right. Or you see things that are just, I say people contact us in their worst case scenario. And it's hard to go home and have dinner when, like, you've just got off the phone with somebody that's lost a loved one, lost a child, or, you know, lost their home, or living on the streets in a car, whatever it is, you know, whatever their tragedy is. So to be able to go into the community with people with intellectual and developmental differences, like IDDs, and to just see how these amazing individuals prioritize happiness, and they don't worry about things that are out of their control, and they just build each other up. It's like, why why can we not all do this as a society? So yeah, doing the Night to Shine, I think I've done 7 times. That's the special needs prom. Incredible. Like I stay in town. I skipped a ski trip this year because I wanted to do that. Dreams come true. That's children with potentially terminal illnesses. Best Buddies is connecting high school kids with people with some sort of developmental difference. Just did something with L'Arche this week, which is adults, like older people with developmental differences.
How did you develop this passion?
I don't know. I really don't. I was trying to think about it recently, Joy, like, what was my first event? How did it happen? And I don't know. Was it a story? Was it an event? Something like that. But you go in there and it is contagious. I mean, there's days when I'm like, I'm just going to do this for the rest of my life because you make such an impact. And let me tell you, like, you do these events and like when you have 150 people lining up to shake your hand and take a picture and they say things like, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. God bless you. You're like, wow, this is really incredible. And then you get out there on the highway on 95 and people are doing other things to you, or you go to a football game and you go to a football game or a concert and people want to fight you for standing in front of them, this and that. You're like, y'all need to go over here to these schools or to these events and take a lesson from this community. It's just, it's changed me. And, it's incredible. It's incredible. And that's one of the reasons why, like, back in the day, I didn't take some corporate job. I was going to get some corporate job. But I was like, what's a big salary if you can't enjoy your life and do these things and work on that? So, I always say the time that I have given them has like done nothing to compare to the good vibes they have given me. And we're still rolling with it. I'm saying this, like, I'm not stepping down from any of that stuff. Like, as long as they will continue to take me, I'm still going to be involved. Not changing anything there.
You'll find time for that.
Find time. Make time. Like, it doesn't matter. That's a priority. That's a priority.
You talk about having fun in life. You talk about, not worrying about things you have no control over. Your biggest joys here.
My biggest joys here.
Looking back on your time, what have been your biggest moments, your most fun, your just...
Honestly, it's just been meeting people, like meeting our viewers out there, being able to help them. Like, that is fun to be able to... We have a bell in the iTeam office, like Jody Mormon, our managing editor of iTeam. Like, we bring it, got results. We're getting results. Like, it's not just a TV commercial or a slogan or a promo. Like, we love that stuff. Like, when we can do it, like, it's like winning a game as an athlete. Like, when we're able to get somebody the justice they deserve or what they need, something like that, like, you're winning that game. And that's an adrenaline rush. Just connecting with the community, telling stories. Like, people are always like, who's the most famous person you've interviewed? And I'm like, I've interviewed governors and senators and all these highfalutin people and musicians and stuff. And you know what? Not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal. It's the person somewhere in our viewing area that you talk to that lets you into their house that's a bigger deal, that's more memorable. And being able to build these bonds and, like, hear from these people years later, and I always tell the young people, I'm like, for us, it's another day on the job, right? On the news, like, you're going over to somebody's house. Like, we got to do it. We do it every day. Sometimes multiple stories a day. You know that. For them, that could be their one and only exchange with a news station. That could be their one and only time that they're ever on TV, whether it's for a story that's positive or a story that's concerning, or a sad story. That's why you have to push it every single day. And I'm exhausted doing it, but it's like we owe it to these people to tell their story the best way possible, right? Like, you don't want to go to the ER and have a doctor be like, well, I've had 1,000 patients like you before, so just like go through there and we're just going to push it through. Like, no, and I learned, my mom's a nurse, my dad's a physician. Like, my dad today was just talking to one of his patients. I was up there visiting him real quickly. And he was like, there's a lot going on in the world, but when it's you and me in this office and we close the door, you are the most important person in the universe, right? So when you go over to somebody's house or place of business or whatever, and you're telling their story, you are literally, you should be telling them you are the most important person in the universe right now, because we want to hear from you and we want you to do that. And so many people, they don't even necessarily need the resolution in their case. They just want to be heard. They just want a voice, and they want to be able to be seen as equal, which they are, to these fancy politicians or CEOs or whatever it is. And historically, that hasn't happened, right? Like, more money, more status, more power. And that's what makes journalism so important. You bring people together. We're still going to do that at the sheriff's office, Doesn't matter who you are. You get equal treatment.
You have thrown yourself, poured yourself, dedicated yourself to your career. I mean, listen to all these things that he does. All these things that you somehow find time for.
Mm-hmm.
You are leaving.
There's things that could be done.
You could come back. I just want to say for the record.
I know. I've had those conversations. Look,
people have left and come back.
No, like what if we did a true crime show and podcast and things like that to solve local cases, hyper-local cases? I'm not going to give away any of my ideas here, but there are talks. There are talks, about how we're going to expand the reach of the sheriff's office beyond just Facebook, Instagram, X, which used to be Twitter, and YouTube, right? Like there's talks about finding ways to get back out there, because ultimately you got to meet people where they are. And you've got newer, younger generations that are coming up, and other generations that are just getting their information differently. So it's about getting it out there. I mean, the biggest challenge is getting that megaphone to the most people, because if there is some sort of emergency in our community, you want to get that information out, and you want to get it out effectively, right? And that's strategic communications. You want to do it the right way. So, yeah.
Well, I will tell you that I have admired your style of storytelling. And there have been times, and I've never gotten a chance, I'm so glad I get a chance to tell you this now, but there have been times where I have been sitting there putting together a story. You got the headphones on, you are in the zone, and you hit a roadblock and trying to find the words, and you know what you want to say, but you don't know how to do it. And I will hear your voice and the cadence that you have in the stories that you've done, and I will often use that thought process, and it helps get me through some of those little bumps I run into. So,
well, thanks.
Yeah,
thank you. I love your style. Like, I watch your style. I mean, I always watch Joy, and I'm like, wow, she's so real. She does this so real, and it is so relatable and down to earth, and it's true. I mean, I think a good journalist and good anchor is like, what you see is what you get, right? Like, what's on camera is the same as off camera, and that's what you need, like that genuine authenticity. So yeah, thank you. I'll tell you this, like, I consume a lot of news from all across the country and across the world. Like, my social media is like just filled with other journalists, because I love to see what they're doing and see the best way to get it out there. And it's like, I'm always following it, and always working on it. Like, even to this, the story that's going on today, like, how can I do it differently? How can I make it better? How can I refine it? Like, that doesn't go away. That passion's there. People are like, you burned out? No, it's not that. Am I tired? Absolutely. But I think I'll be tired in my new position too.
I'm going to read I'm going to read one more of these. I'm going to find another one that our viewers have written, and we'll end on this.
Sure.
Let's see.
Joy's got work to do.
No, there were just so many.
Where'd I hide my water?
And Carrie Ann has been so nice, who's been helping us behind the
She
scenes
has
over
been.
here,
Hi, Carrie Ann.
collecting these.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Carrie Ann has been on our air recently.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
good
she's
about
been.
me? What's your favorite memory with me?
I remember when you were just getting started over here. Carrie Ann is just always peppy and she's creative. Like, she can take something and just really connect with people on it. I mean, she's like the viral queen, right? She knows. But at the end of the day, like, that's important, right? Like, if we're going to work this hard to get our work on the air, like, we want the most people to see it. And she does a great job at doing it. I mean, sometimes she has embarrassed me and put things on TikTok that I don't want out there, or just, things that maybe she thinks are funny, but I don't. But we'll forgive her. We'll forgive her. Remember that Kia Hyundai story? Like, oh, that haunted me.
Don't remind anyone of that.
That haunted me. It got what, like millions of views?
Well, now you got to fill everybody in who didn't see it.
No, the Kias and the Hyundais and how people are stealing those.
There was backlash that we showed
it, but
It was not the case.
it wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. But like, oh man, like for a week I had to hear about it because people were like, well, you're showing people how to do it. And we're like, no, they're already doing it, and they already know how to do it. And we didn't show them all the way to do it, but we just kind of talked about, because you got to explain it. But maybe I talked too
It was a
much.
good time.
Maybe.
You don't. Okay, so there is a good talk too much, and there's a bad talk too much. So when we go to you, when you are out there covering a hurricane, and you are showing people, everybody's evacuated, and you have gone into where nobody can see, but everybody's concerned about their things, their home, their what's going on with the infrastructure. You are there, and you talk. Our bosses will say, you just have Vic talk. Just talk. And he will go 4 minutes, not just like 2 minutes, like 15 minutes, and just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
16 was the record.
It allows us
Straight.
to regroup at the station, but at the same time, look at the important information you're giving.
Yeah.
That is a skill to be able to talk nonstop like that.
Sometimes. And the funny thing is, like sometimes my family or my girlfriend or my friends will be like, why are you so quiet, like after hours? Like, are you upset about something? And I'm like, no. Like, I did it the other night because I worked all day, had a really busy day at work, and then I had to go got to go MC a panel. And then, like, at the end of it, they were like asking me, and I was like, I don't want to be rude. I was telling my family, like, I don't want to be rude, but like, I'm out of words for the day. I'm done.
Don't know how that's possible,
Yeah.
but okay.
So like I'm sometimes on vacation, like if I go somewhere, like I like to get away. I love Latin America. I love adventures and hiking and stuff. Like people be like, why are you so quiet? I'm like, because I'm not in my capacities 95% of the time. So I just want to.
You do go on some pretty exotic trips.
Yeah. So no Ritz-Carlton's here. I do DJ there.
But you,
So I love the Ritz-Carlton as a client.
you stayed at hostels?
Yeah, no,
I
actually I
just hear
did
that?
in
Okay.
Iceland. In Iceland, we stayed in a hostel. Yeah, it was.
These are choices?
So
I'm just asking. I'm
so
just curious why some people love the sun, some people love the cold. You love exotic trips.
I love it all. Yeah, I like places that are different. I think it's because part of it is like growing up in Jacksonville and living in Jacksonville and working in Jacksonville. Like I've spent so much time here, and I love this city. But it's also like I haven't moved to 12 different cities like some people do. People in the military, people whose jobs take them places.
And people in TV.
So, in
usually
TV,
start
yeah. You've been in how
small
many?
market. I haven't been in that many.
You're in Miami.
I was in Miami. I started in New Jersey, and was here twice.
Yeah. Joy came back.
Like I said, the door's always open.
Yeah.
You can come back.
Yes.
Not that I think it's not going to work out between you and the sheriff.
Committed
I'm
to the
just saying.
cause.
I'm
No,
just
it's going to be great.
saying.
We get along great. Sheriff and I have known each other for a long time. That's the interesting thing, like working nights and weekends and working all these scenes, like sheriff, under sheriff, the directors over there at JSO, like
Hi,
there's
Vic.
there's no introductions because I've worked with them for more than a decade, right? Like long before they had these positions of power. Like I worked for them when they were out on the street, and I was just some 22-year-old kid running around. But it goes back to that, like, we're all human, right? Like, many people would be intimidated by them, but it's like...
Well, have you gotten the side eye from, I'm sure you've been over there. Have you gotten the side eye from some, the street cops, and they see, oh, there's Vic, he's a reporter.
I've heard from a lot of the officers since the announcement came out. And before, from some. But
good or bad?
Great. Okay. Yeah. The community over there has been awesome. Like, welcome to the team. We're looking forward to working together. Oh my gosh, we're so excited. Great, and that's awesome. Like it's good to know. And like I said, the leadership over there, like, you don't really have to have any introductions. Like, most of them I've worked a long time with, different capacities, but we've had that mutual understanding and respect. Yeah. So, and commitment to transparency. Yeah, it's awesome.
Jeanette Walls writes on News4Jax, Vic, it's a joy watching you and others come to News4 studio as an intern and bloom into a devoted newsroom investigative journalist and reporter. You have shown your viewers how much you care and respect the communities around Jacksonville, and I am for sure will miss seeing you with the team, but proud of your next chapter in life. Good luck and God bless you.
Wow.
Lois Hager says, every time I see Vic, I am impressed. He always shows integrity, caring, and understanding in any situation. I do not know him personally, but I would like to. I am so proud of this young man.
That's really nice. Jeanette and Lois, keep an eye out for you both out there. That's super nice.
There are hundreds of these, Vic. Is there anything in particular you want to say to people? Just
one, it's not goodbye, right? Like, I hope that we continue this relationship and we connect it and hopefully connect with even more people, right? Like use this. Two, just to keep believing in good, to believe in community and to make a difference and like chip away whatever it is you do, whatever your career path is, whatever your place in life is, like chip away. Like, it costs nothing to smile at somebody or to like ask them a real question. Like, don't just how are you and then not listen to how they actually are, right? Like, how are you? No, like, really, how are you? And at the end of the day, do it for the right reasons. Like, I think us in the media sometimes get a bad rap, like, oh, they're just doing this for their corporate profits. And I'm like, I don't even know much about that corporate world. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, trust me, it's not that. Oh, there's this whole media conspiracy. And I'm like, there's definitely not some, like, secret meeting in the middle of the night with reporters and producers and stuff where we're all like, we're going to do this. I think it's just whatever it is you do, be genuine, be authentic, and make a difference. And we can all make a difference. Like, you don't have to be a brain surgeon or cure cancer to make a difference in your community, right? You don't have to have money to make a difference in your community. Like, you see these big donors that can put their name on the side of a hospital or a tower or whatever it is, and that's amazing, right? Because they're helping out. But you don't have to be that person. You can go read to kids. You can go work in a community garden. You could mentor somebody. You could just take in your neighbor, mow their lawn, whatever it is that you have the capacity to do, like, do it. Because why not? And ultimately, it makes you happier. Like, I think you were talking about, like, leaving your worries and stresses behind. I'm terrible at that. Like, I'm always stressed and I'm always, like, overthinking things. But I do find peace when, like, you make other people happy or you make something better for them. So that's the big thing. And we're going to keep doing it. Like, Lois, Jeanette, like, everybody that reaches out, like, we're going to keep doing this. And I'm leaning on you, too, to, keep doing great stuff in the community.
I like that. Just do it.
Yeah.
I think that was already taken. That
I think so, yeah. And I don't want to hear from anybody out in Eugene, Oregon. Who could that be? So,
Vic, you're awesome.
Joy, you're awesome. You're awesome.
Thanks for talking.
Of course. So,
And
look,
we're not saying goodbye. We'll be seeing you around.
see you around. Look, and I always tell people, like, one, I can hear you. Like if you're saying something and you're like around the corner, like just come up and say, hey, like, I love that stuff. Like, I like talking to people, you know, and I think, who put you up to this?
All right, get out.
Who put you up to this?
We're done. Oh.
Okay. This is the goodbye.